Project Slayers, Project Mugetsu, and Demonfall. These 3 games have something in common. They've all had their time in popularity and died very fast. Project Slayers getting over 100,000 people playing on release, Demonfall with over 50,000 people, and Project Mugetsu having the biggest of them all. But what do these 3 have in common? They've had huge amount of player counts on release, but when the game's updated, they now get the player counts of Roblox Poop Obby or something. So that brings a certain question to my attention. Why do Roblox games die after release? There's a reason games like Pet Simulator X and Blox Fruits retain hundreds of thousands of players. It's because games like these have years of content in them. In Blox Fruits, there's different seeds and hundreds of fruits to go through, and while players can call the game repetitive because of this, it's the cycle of the game that, while being repetitive, still brings fun to the players. There's over 2,000 levels to grind through, while the game having rare and even rarer items to get, boss areas, secrets in the game, and so much more. It's the areas of the game that leaves players to wonder if there's an ending to the game and how to get there, because even if you do reach the maximum level in the game, there's more to do, like getting the best sword, trying to have the best build in the game, uncovering all secrets in the game, getting the best fruits, and much more. Now the problem with newer Roblox games that release is that they do the exact opposite thing and push how they rush the game with little to no content. Games like Project Slayers have been in the cycle of this, and many players ended up saying that the game had little to no content, which caused a massive fall off to the player counts even to this day, making it worse and worse with the game not being updated in 6 months. Project Mugetsu had an even bigger drop with the game getting almost over 100,000 players on release, but when the players played it, they complained that it was too buggy, had no content, and it was very grindy. And while YouTubers would be making massive amounts of views on the game, they now make little to no views, with the game's player count dropping to only slightly over 3,000. While it is sad to see these games die, you might be asking, games like Murder Mystery 2 and Brookhaven are repetitive, so why do they still get players and these games don't? Well, it's because of 2 things. One is that these games are sort of made for kids, and the other part is that these games still bring a sense of interest and secrets to it as well. Now this is especially true for Murder Mystery 2 because each round you're randomly giving a role and left to wonder which role you get. With that being on top of it, the maps are usually small, which leaves a lot of room for people to socialize around, which is why when you go into an MM2 server, 50% of the time you're going to see people arguing over something so little. At this point, I would call Murder Mystery 2 more of like a socializing game where you just do a mini game to promote engagement, because that's really what it's turned into. While in Brookhaven, it's sort of the same thing. You roleplay with the many things that are given to help with that, which promotes socializing and helps people get creative. That's why there are cars, shops, diners, and houses, and even beaches in the game. But what really sets Brookhaven and MM2 away from Project Slayers and Project Mugetsu is that you're mainly focused on socializing and chatting with people and completing an objective that's fun rather than running around the map, killing bosses, and doing it over and over. This is why, with all the hate that Pet Simulator X gets sometimes and people saying Brookhaven is sort of a game that's boring and for kids, the game really never dies because there's always something fun, engaging that requires people around you to socialize and communicate with. People need other people and not just things, NPCs, to engage in with them, and that's why you see PvP games on Roblox being successful and getting lots of players. MM2 is not so much focused on the game itself anymore. It gets much more interesting when there's players, dramas, rivals, and it keeps users enticed in the game, even when the game gets no more updates. I remember the time that MM2 was going through this phase of people trying to stop teaming within the game, and in every server you'd see people arguing over it, and even in other countries too. Another cause of a game's player count decreasing could be the content creators behind it. Content creators are kind of like the backbone of a game, and when it's dead, well, there's not really much else going for the game, because content creators get creative when making content on the games, which gives viewers new and unique things to try within the game, overall pulling more views and players to the game. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below. Let me know your takes on it, and have an amazing day.